Hello, viewers. I'm Pradeep Kaushal from TFI. We are going to discuss Panama Canal today, which is in the news courtesy Donald Trump, the president-elect of the US. We have with us senior journalist Shekhar Iyer. Shekhar, as you must be aware what Mr. Trump has said, he made 3 points basically. One, Panama Canal was foolishly ceded to Panama by President Jimmy Carter way back in 1977. Two, US naval and commercial ships are being charged exorbitantly by Panama. Number three, he is not prepared to accept any Chinese presence as far as the control of Panama Canal is concerned. Now that brings us to the question, is that the real reason for President Trump to speak at this time and in this manner? Yes.
Well, I think you have touched on all the three dimensions of this latest, um, you know, strike from Trump, even before he has entered the White House.
Yeah. Just a
And
month away
yeah,
from
and
the
this follows several things. Like he warned Canada and Mexico about immigration. Then he even called Canada. It should just become one of the states, the 51st state of the United States.
I hope it doesn't make the same offer to Panama. No.
Now, and then after that, he warned India also that if you don't lower your tariff, we are going to impose, penalize your goods coming into this country. So
Yeah.
in his pursuit of making it uh, prosperous for American economy and American trade, his eyes have fallen on Panama Canal because Panama Canal is, as we all know, connects the two oceans, Atlantic and the Pacific.
Yeah. Yeah.
And US, exports of commodities and including even LPG pass through this route. And
Yeah.
imports of lot of say automobiles and other things, they come from even from Asia. They come through this route.
Hmm.
So this is a big thing which has happened, and I mean, a little bit of history is we all know that early 1900 US helped Panama gain independence from Colombia, and
True.
in turn they got the right to manage. I mean, to construct and build this canal, which was an engineering marvel and remains an engineering marvel. And of course, it was a project of President Roosevelt, and then when it was completed, it took almost 11 to 12 years to be completed. After it
Yeah.
was completed, the complete control of that region, Panama zone, canal zone, was vested with the US. But we know, through the 60s and 70s, this became a big issue in Panama. So much so
I,
there were
there was
even
a mass agitation. Mass agitation.
agitation, riots, and all that. And subsequently, with Americans realizing, they were managing it, they realized that it needed further investment to keep it going. That is the time they lost interest and decided that it should be transferred, and it was transferred, and an agreement was signed during Jimmy Carter's time in 77, with a 20-year kind of thing, that 14 years it will be under joint control, and eventually it was handed over to Panama.
Yeah.
Now,
99.
99, it was fully taken over. Now, subsequently, what has happened is the Panama has been managing it, and this is one thing that is giving them a lot of revenue. It makes a huge
Yeah. It's
contribution
around
to the GDP.
20%.
Yes,
20% of their
and
GDP.
by way of tourism, by way of transit fees, and etc. etc. Now, last year, what happened was Panama suffered, the entire Central America for that matter suffered drought. And this canal, you see, unlike the Suez Canal, this is fed by the freshwater lake, that is the Gatun Lake. The Gatun
Yeah.
Lake actually feeds it. It's a freshwater lake. With the drought there, the water levels in the lake have fallen. So last year, what happened in October, the Canal Authority placed restrictions on the number of ships, because the whole canal operates, by way of locking system. There is
Yeah.
a lock which opens, and the water level of the canal increases, the ship is pushed forward. So at
Yeah,
any
and
given time,
it lifts up the cargo.
lifts up the
Uh,
ship. That
yeah,
is that level comes to the level of that Gatun Lake. So the ship moves forward.
yeah,
It's a very unique system that they have designed for this. Now, because of fall in the water level, the number of ships passing through, as well as the transit fees, were hiked.
hmm.
So that affected American shippers, because they had to pay a lot for this. And they have been complaining to Trump, look, our exports, particularly America, exports a lot of energy items, particularly LPG. Even they are selling oil to India also. India also buys some quantities of American oil. Now, Trump feels that this, why are we paying so much for this? After all, it was ours. And he has come with this, I would say, a theory that America handed over this canal for $1. But there is no record to show that it was given for $1.
Yeah. That's a Trump story. It's not a real one. It
That
is not
America
actually
just
that
gave him
$1
for $1.
was never paid.
Yeah. And you see what has happened since 2023, when the rate transit fees were raised. Then the rains have come this year, and the water levels have improved. But the fees haven't come down. The transit fees haven't come down. And American shipping lines have been complaining that this is too much for us. So that is the first problem, number one. Problem number two, Pradeep ji, you mentioned about the Chinese influence, because Trump in his statement has said we will not allow foreign control, or basically saying we want Chinese control. That is because there is a lot of Chinese investment in Panama around this canal development area on other infrastructure projects. Apart from that, there are two ports which are managed by a Hong Kong based company.
Yeah, Hong Kong companies.
I think the company is called Hutchins,
Hmm.
CK Hutchins Holdings, which is a
Hmm.
Chinese subsidiary which is operating two ports, at the canal's Caribbean end, as well as at the Pacific entrance end.
Hmm.
So this is something that has been worrying America strategically. But then
Hmm.
Panama, as a country, as a Central American country, is a strong ally of the US. US military and strategic interests have always been taken care. There is no problem on that. So
Hmm.
therefore, what we are seeing is, of course, this is again giving rise to nationalistic feelings in Panama. That is why President of Panama has reacted very strongly. He's saying it belongs to Panama, it will remain with Panama for the present or for future. So no question of handing over. So, and a day after making this claim over Panama, President-elect Trump has also spoken about Greenland, which is his
Yeah, he
other,
wants to buy
is a,
it.
yes, is
He
another
wants to
unfinished
buy it.
agenda from his previous term.
Yeah,
Like,
but Shekhar, coming back to Panama Canal, what do you think are the options available to President Trump? Is he going to intervene militarily, or it's just fluff that he is saying all this? What options do you think President Trump has?
no, I feel maybe he wants some concessions for the American shipping lines. That
Hmm.
you have a rate, because what do we get to know is America's the kind of figures we are getting is, uh, out of the total maritime trade, 5% goes through this,
Hmm.
and 40% of the US container traffic is through this. So
Yes,
US is the
very
largest
vital,
user. Yeah, this
very
is
vital.
a user. So a possibility is, after all this, when President finally is settled in the White House, he may ask Panama, at least the Canal Authority, to go in for some kind of a discount for the American exports and imports through that American shipping lines be given some discount, so that the rates are not high. So this could be a possibility, because it is essentially coming down to that. Because even otherwise, Pradeep ji, that canal, the one complaint is that canal needs lot more investment. Because for some time, we heard that the regular removal of silt and all that has not been going on there. Consequently, the depth has been affected. This was a frequent complaint, that lot of work that needed to be done has not been done. So, but one thing, there is also a problem that if the rates keep rising, the transit fees keep rising, then the shipping, the shippers will be forced to look for alternative routes. They cannot, but then
But they don't
alternative
have
routes
a
will be very
choice.
long. The
No,
other
but I
alternative,
don't think they have a choice because the other route is much too long and it will uh, cost them more time and more money.
more money, definitely more money. And these days, ships are after all powered by diesel,
Yeah.
and you have to, the fossil fuel is again an issue. So I think it's more of a, I think for some hard bargaining, so that the Panama Canal Authority is forced to, announce some concessions or keep the fee in at least hike in hold, because Panama Canal Authority is actually talking of some $8.5 billion projects, to, kind of a project to improve and to expand this canal capacity. I don't
Acha,
know how they are going to.
what effect do you think it would have on the future of the two Hong Kong companies which are there in Panama
No,
Canal?
I know those, they are there. They are executing those projects there. So apart from that, there is Chinese investment, around the area developed around the canal.
Do you think Trump would manage to make them unstable, to oust them from there? Any possibility of that?
Now, instead of ousting them, he could force Panama to give more business to American companies,
Okay. So
because
they would coexist
because,
with
for
Hong
instance,
Kong.
I mentioned this figure, $8.5 billion project is there for that region, and that will include a big project to improve the capacity of the canal. So those are the projects which the American firms would be interested, and because there is a competition between American firms and Chinese firms. Now, Chinese firms come with a lot of capital. That capital firms come from the government itself, and that they have been doing it all over South America and large parts of South Africa. And I myself have seen, when I visited the Caribbean along with Vice President Byron Singh Shekhawat, the biggest buildings in some of these Caribbean countries is the Chinese embassy. So China
China
has,
has not commented so far, but what do you think would be the stance of the Chinese?
the Chinese would rather secure their business interests first, because this is not an area where they would like to have any direct military confrontation. So ultimately, it will boil down to a competition between American companies and Chinese companies, and seeking more of the pie of those projects there in that region. This is what I see, because ultimately, Trump is not for a military solution of any kind,
Yeah,
whether it is Ukraine or Taiwan. He would
he's a
rather
businessman.
businessman. See,
Yeah,
so
he's
all
for business.
these, all this rattling we are seeing is ultimately to ensure that, and if American companies get business, I think his constituency is served. In which case, even the fees may be just may remain where they are. They may be frozen. This is my good guess, Pradeep ji.
Acha, now coming to Greenland. So Denmark has said that it doesn't belong to Denmark. It belongs to the people of Denmark, to the people of Greenland. Now, Trump is out in the market to buy it up. Who would he buy it up from? Would he buy it up from Denmark or the people of the Greenland?
No, his way of is looking at it as a kind of a deal, because he talks of deal. So, but I don't think it is a easier proposition. That is why even now the initial reaction is like that. But what is the Trump's interest in Greenland? That is
Yeah,
also real.
that's $1 million question.
See,
Why does he want that?
that interest ranges from I think their own exploratory works have shown that Greenland has a lot of mineral deposits, lot of fossil fuel deposits, and tapping of which will require a lot of US investment, because that land is, it's not a, it's a country that is very cold, and but it's such a vast, largely it is a wasteland, but
But
and beneath.
he also cites strategic reasons. So, what strategic reasons do you think he has in mind?
I think he fears that Russia could be eyeing that place, because Russia's interest in Arctic and Russia's interest in that region could be one reason, and
But
the
Russia
other
is
could.
not in a position to invade
No, it
Greenland.
is not inward, because after being bogged down in Ukraine and with lot of problems, not. But I think the commercial side of the possibility of exploring the resources of Greenland with the new technology, that could be in the minds of Trump, and I believe the Trump's advisors have already prepared some reports. Whatever Trump is saying is on the basis of some kind of a preliminary work done, that which are should be the thrust areas that should happen under Trump administration. So the next 4 years, he wants to open up those areas where the US, which is US capital, can be employed to create new industry and extend the frontiers of technology. So that is why this Greenland approach is at the moment is a more, because he had done it in the last term also, but it was not successful, negotiations and all that. But this time there could be a kind of a proposal. It has to have a monetary impact.
This time he has started off early,
Yes, he
even
has
before
started
the
early,
war.
because see, ultimately Trump is a person who believes that everything can be had for the money you are willing to pay. If you pay for it, you will get it. Therefore, if you can pay if whoever is the highest bidder will get it. In which sense, being a very commercial thing, and he has been a successful businessman himself. See, that is one reason.
Yeah,
And
of
Trump
course.
and Pradeep ji, Trump during this campaign, he never said, "I'm like one of you." See, that's a very interesting. You see, his campaign was never that I'm one like the other Americans. No, which is what was the Democratic Party candidate CA was. Kamala Harris' projection was, I have grown up from, I have come up from the bottom. Trump's CA is, look, being a success myself, I can ensure success of other Americans, be it in employment generation or wealth generation. So all his ideas, the local support will be that if Trump says it, there has to be a huge financial outflow
Yeah,
sooner
like
or
it
later.
tells Japan, if you want me to protect you, then you better pay out. You bear the cost. And he says that countries which enjoy US protection, they have to bear the cost, they have to pay money to the US. It was very fruitful talking to you, Shekhar. We'll keep it up. Another topic. Let us meet next. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.